So it was an absolutely beautiful day for practice. It couldn't have been better weather, to be honest with you, especially after the last 2 days with the Grand Prix being pretty much, there was some snow flurries in the air, and I'm not even joking on that one. But for a first day of Indy 500 testing, couldn't have been better weather, and actually a surprising amount of speed. This was, at least for me, completely unexpected. We saw speeds nearly approaching 230 miles an hour, and it wasn't just an anomaly. It wasn't just like one or two cars were up in the 229 bracket. There's like 3 or 4 cars that were up there. We also saw some surprises from some teams, and continuing to see some struggles from McLaren and Fernando Alonso. So let's go, and what I'm going to do is give you the top 5 on the speed charts, and then we're going to go and talk about the bottom 5 as well, because of course at Indianapolis you have to qualify for the race, and 3 drivers are going to go home at the end of qualifying. So topping the time charts for today, Will Power, defending winner at the Indianapolis 500, 229.7 miles per hour, almost 230. Just behind him, Simon Pagenaud at 229.7. On the 3rd position, and he actually stayed there for quite a long time, was Ed Carpenter at 228.6. He did that really early in the day, I think within the first hour and a half, and that was when things got really surprising with the amount of speed that we were gonna see. The first guy up at the 228 mile per hour bracket was Helio Castroneves. He did that like his 3rd or 4th lap out. It was really crazy at 228.4. And then rounding out the top 5 is Colton Herta, first of the Hondas. He was at 228.2. I think that was another speed that was turned very early on in the day. But Colton Herta, I guess I should talk about this as well, had a bit of an oopsie down here in turn 2. He spun coming off of the warm-up lane. Thankfully didn't hit anybody, wasn't collected by anybody, so no harm, no foul, but certainly a situation that was pretty scary. We actually had 39 different car driver combinations today. James Hinchcliffe went out in the Schmidt-Peterson cars, as well as the Mike Meyer-Shank car, and turned laps. So we actually had 39 cars on the time charts. So when I name some of these cars, they may not necessarily be in positions 35, 36, and 37 on this particular board, but it doesn't matter for what we're trying to do. So the slowest of all the drivers with the car combinations was Ben Hanley at 221.5. Now that was a no-toe speed as well, or he was in 221 mile per hours with the no-toe. And I guess I should explain what a toe versus a no-toe lap is. A toe lap is one that you have a draft or a slipstream in. No-toe is when it's a completely clean lap and you had no assistance to make that speed. So Ben Hanley was actually 26th on the board when talking about no-toe. Of course, no-toe is important when we're talking about qualifying, because of course you're not going to have a draft in qualifying. Next up was Oriol Servia, so he would have been bumped if we had qualifying today at 223.2, and he was 29th on the no-toe times. James Davison at 223.5. He was 36th on the no-toe times at 218.4 miles per hour. Max Chilton would have been 33rd had they qualified today. Chilton was at 223.5 miles per hour. 34th overall. She would have been 32nd if they qualified today. Pippa Mann at 223.9, and her no-toe time was 18th with 222 miles per hour. Jordan King, a lot of people were picking him to be bumped. He's actually ahead of quite a few drivers, 223.9. He's never been on an oval before today, so I think that's a pretty successful day for him. And Fernando Alonso, 224.162, 32nd overall on the board, but crucially, his no-toe time is 35th at 219 miles per hour. And I think we need to talk about Fernando Alonso because he had 2 issues today. The first one was a gearbox issue, which happened over here in turn 2, and then as he was coming out to try to run in the happy hour session, his gearbox failed. So he's had 2 failures, adding to those failures that we saw in the test. I mean, it's not a meme anymore, folks. Fernando Alonso could very well miss this race. They are having a lot of troubles at Carlin Racing right now, as well as McLaren. And yeah, it could be very crucial when it comes to qualifying. They are losing a lot of track time, and I just don't know what they're going to be able to do, how they're going to be able to cope with this. I don't know. It's not good right now. They've got 4 days to get it in line before qualifying, and then who knows what will happen. One more shout out I wanted to give was to Kyle Kaiser. Ended up 21st on the board, 20th on the no-toe time. Juncos Racing lost both of their primary sponsors. They were running out here with a blank white car. Fantastic job by them. Looks like at least if they qualified today, they would be easily in the show. So who knows? That's one that I think a story that we really need to track throughout this month of May. So after one day, it's been fantastic. It's been really exciting. I'm so glad to have Indy cars back on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Oval, and who knows what tomorrow is going to bring, but be sure to tune in for more Indy 500 month content. Thanks to Kevin for filming for me and for the use of the iPad. It was really helpful. I need to get an iPad. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube, and we'll see you in the next video.